Published, 17:24 Eastern Standard Time, the 3rd of February 2019. Updated, 17:55 Eastern Standard Time, the 3rd of February 2019. A policeman who died after a horror head-on car crash was promoted on his deathbed. Timothy Proctor was confirmed as a fully-fledged constable in the NSW Police Force by Police Commissioner Nick Fuller on Saturday. The police commissioner paid a special visit to the young officer in hospital, where the 29-year-old was in an induced coma. The Daily Telegraph reported. Constable Timothy Proctor, pictured, was promoted on his deathbed, the day before he died from his injuries after being hit in a head-on collision. Mr. Proctor, pictured with wife Diane, on their wedding day, was driving back to work after a training exercise when the incident occurred. Officers formed an honor guard at Liverpool Police Station for the 29-year-old. The crash occurred when a 65-year-old woman veered onto the wrong side of the road on Thursday afternoon, colliding with the constable at a combined speed of 200 km/h. Constable Proctor, who had only been a member of the NSW Police Force for 9 months, succumbed to his injuries a day later. On Sunday morning, he sustained critical injuries in a collision when another driver drifted across a highway on Thursday afternoon. The 29-year-old was driving back to work after a training exercise on when his Honda Jazz collided with a black Honda Civic traveling the opposite way on Heathcote Road at Lucas Heights in Sydney South. The vehicle, driven by a 65-year-old woman, crossed a lane of traffic before veering onto the wrong side and colliding into Constable Proctor at a combined speed of 200 km/h. About 2 p.m., following the initial point of impact, a Mitsubishi Triton driven by a 19-year-old woman crashed into the woman's Civic. The teenager and her 18-year-old male passenger managed to escape serious injury. The probationary constable was placed in an induced coma at Liverpool Hospital, where he later died. The 65-year-old remains in a critical but stable condition in hospital. Flowers were placed next to a photograph of Constable Proctor as his colleagues came to say goodbye. The rookie policeman had a bright future. Police Commissioner Mick Fuller said the accident cut short Constable Proctor's dreams of serving in the force. Commissioner Mick Fuller said he had a tremendous passion and commitment for his job and his community, and gave his condolences to Mr. Proctor's family and colleagues. My thoughts are with Timothy's wife Diane, his family, friends and colleagues at this incredibly difficult time, he said. Timothy was certainly well on the way to a wonderful policing career and was well respected by his colleagues and all who knew him. He joined the police force after being a volunteer firefighter and had a tremendous passion and commitment for all emergency services and the community. Constable Proctor's wife Diane was present, pictured, and was seen with an older woman as she spoke with her late husband's colleagues. The grieving woman was comforted by the policeman's work friends as she took her seat at the honor guard. Officers formed a guard of honor for the officer outside Liverpool Police Station, with Constable Proctor's colleagues seen giving their condolences to the man's wife. A photograph of him was put on display, and grieving officers placed flowers next to it to pay their respects. The collision forced the closure of Heathcote Road for up to 6 hours on Thursday, with major crash investigators examining the distressing scene. A witness who was traveling behind the Honda said the accident occurred in a split second. The car literally came off the ground and kicked up and I dodged it, Cameron Roshanzada told 9 News. Just thinking about it really shakes you. The 29-year-old was a former firefighter, right, with wife Diane, who became a police officer in April last year. Both on and off-duty officers were present to farewell Constable Proctor, as well as a K-9 officer. Obviously, police turning up to a police officer injured is extremely upsetting for first responders, and it was a devastating accident, Acting Inspector Melissa Thompson told reporters. Police Minister Troy Grant said the tragic crash was a confronting reminder of the horrific trauma we sadly continue to see on our roadways. CST Proctor was a recent recruit from the Goulburn Academy and had begun a promising career at Liverpool City Police Area Command. He said in a statement, "It's the worst call that a police minister can get, to be told that one of our own has been injured or killed in the course of their duties." CST Proctor will be deeply missed by his young wife and family. "We cannot imagine their grief for a life lost far too soon. I'm sure I speak on behalf of the entire community when I say that his loved ones, and the broader police family, have our full support at this tragic time." The scene of the collision for first responders was said to be devastating, and locals are now calling for a barrier to be put between the lanes on the busy road.